Hey everyone, this is Ryder from Skip, and I hope you're doing well. I have a quick, important update on the Paycheck Protection Program and this report that came out yesterday by the Treasury Department. So this was published on Sunday, June 7th. Today's Monday, June 8th, and I'm going to go through the data that's in here. The reason this is so important is because it is rare for the SBA and the Treasury to share data. Of course, they have been doing it for those of you following along over the past 3 months, but it's usually few and far between. And this is the first report with comprehensive data, including a summary of what states have received funding, what business categories, and what banks have issued the funds. This is the first one in a few weeks. One of the things we did was we dove deep in some of the data and pulled out a few important conclusions. So, whether you have received a PPP loan or not, and you're still thinking about applying, this data, we hope, will be interesting for you. So, let's dive in. First, I'm going to run through this report, share the highlights. Then I'm going to talk about the takeaways, some of the data that we pulled out through our analysis, and what it means for you, again, whether you have received the PPP loan or not. This is still going to be important for you. So, first of all, the summary is super impressive that to date, $500 billion has been distributed to over 4.5 million businesses. That's incredible. That averages out to an average PPP loan amount of $113,000. And again, it's pretty impressive. If you've gotten a loan, congrats. And also, it's great news for those of you who watched our video on Friday. I'm going to link to it. But the PPP Flexibility Act was passed on Friday, and now it's significantly easier for you, if you're one of these 4.5 million or your future PPP recipient, easier for you to get this loan forgiven. And there were some big changes in that bill. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'll link to it for you. Okay, the other thing that I want to point out here is the state-by-state breakdown. So again, this generally corresponds to population density, but one of the things we wanted to look at was, and it was not put in this summary page here, but we wanted to look at what was the average loan amount by state. What's interesting here is that when they share the top PPP lenders, they break out these top 15 lenders, which, by the way, make up for a quarter of all the loans distributed, which is pretty amazing. 15 of them make up a quarter, and there's over 4,000 banks that are eligible to issue loans. But what they did was they did total number of loans, total number of money distributed, and the average loan size. So you could quickly see, okay, JP Morgan, their average loan size is $111,000, whereas Cross River Bank, for some reason, their average loan size is $44,000. And you can draw conclusions like Cross River caters to a lot of smaller businesses, and in their case in particular, I know that they partnered with Fundera, and Fundera has issued a lot of loans, and they've catered to, again, many small businesses. Whereas JP Morgan Chase, of course, has many corporate clients. What's interesting is that some of these are almost 200,000. You know, M&T Bank, almost 200,000 average loan size. PNC, 179,000. And they break it down by sector here too. But what they didn't do at the state level was do an average loan count, average loan size by state. And you might think, well, state shouldn't matter, and that's what we thought, but we took a look anyway. And so here's what we found. So I'm going to link to this post as well, that the average loan amount is $113,000, but the average in DC, for some reason, Washington, D.C., is almost $50,000 higher than the next highest average loan size. So again, this wasn't on the report. We had to actually look at some of the data here and run the numbers. And here's the average down here. You can see, and here's a bunch of other states. This is selected states here. But Ohio is the second. Ohio and Michigan are the next two states. And here's DC. So it's definitely an outlier that needs to be explained. And I can't explain it without coming up with conspiracy theories. But I would love to hear if you have any ideas on why this might be the case. Please leave a comment. Why DC has an average PPP loan amount of 184,000, and the next highest is 137, and the average is 113. Okay, and states, we got the lowest two states here, South Dakota and Mississippi, have 76,000, 17,000 respectively. So obviously it's all a function of business size, but this just seems too high that I'm trying to explain it, and I can't. But one of the things we also did was we plotted all 50 states and plus territories here, by the way, and you can see this DC outlier is even more pronounced. Again, all of them fit along this nice gradual decline when we rank them by loan amount, but for Washington, D.C. So please leave a comment. Let me know if you have any thoughts there. The last and most important thing is that, okay, even though $500 billion has been issued, there is still a lot of money left. Okay, and the report shows us at the bottom here. This is where we're getting this number from, 130 billion. And again, this is available, this captures the approvals net of cancellations. Some people were approved but then never signed their loan documents, or some people returned money, right? A lot of those big businesses were criticized for taking money, so a lot of them returned. But the bottom line is that there's still money left, and I put this in context here. So we did some more research to show that this 130 billion is equivalent to the following. Well, it's more than the total amount that has been distributed to date in California and Texas. 106 billion has been distributed to those. It's more than the total amount issued to 33 different states. So that's huge. And based on the current loan average, this is equivalent to funding another 1.5 million small businesses. So it's huge. So one of the things we want to debunk is that if you are a small business that has legitimate needs to cover payroll costs or other costs, by the way, because you can use 40% of this loan toward rent and utilities or mortgage for your business, you may want to consider applying. We have a partner link that we've put in this blog post that I'm going to link in the description. And obviously it's up to you and your business, but there's a lot of good reasons to consider this, especially if you are still waiting on your EIDL loan, because that is going very slowly. So this is the data. I'm going to link to it here and also link to the full Treasury document. We hope it's helpful, especially since this is almost $1 trillion. It's important to know where it's going, to what states, what banks, and what types of businesses. So thanks for watching and subscribing, and please stay well. Take care.